Okay, I am working with Larissa on a listing agreement and all the supplement forms that go along with that. And so she is pulling up her screen so
Yeah.
we can walk her through the process. All right.
Okay. Let me know when you can see it.
I see it right now.
Okay.
All right. So we're on transaction desk and it's Davis. That's the transaction we're working on. So go ahead and click on that and open it up.
Okay.
And we worked on one form, right? The 1A. So go over to the box on the right that says forms at the top of it. See
Okay.
it right there, right next, yeah, right there. And scroll down in there, or you can just go to, I see it now. So click on 1A, form 1A with it's right there, yeah. Or you can click outside of the box on the right and click on forms and it'll pull up the same
Okay.
thing as we're seeing right here. And I just want to look it over real quick.
Yes, please. Because yeah. I don't remember one part that we went over before, so I might have messed something up.
Okay. Okay. So let me turn my phone down so we're hearing whistling. There we go. All right. So basically, we put most of this information in the beginning, and then it auto populates once you get over here into the form section. And where it says, let's just go over real quick, Larissa, on the top, it'll auto populate the sellers based on what's in Realist or on the Matrix system already. And we'll go back and start from the beginning on at another time, but this is where you're going to end up right here on this form.
Okay.
EXP is the broker or the listing firm. And then down in number 2, or number 3, it lists who is actually the listing broker and that the listing firm appoints Larissa Richardson as the listing broker. And then number 4, we talked about limited dual agency. I've been doing this for a long time, and I do not like being a dual agent, and I don't encourage you as a new person to do dual agency. I think it's best if you're, this happens sometimes if you're at you have your own listing and you're doing an open house and you've got a buyer that comes in who's unrepresented. You don't want to turn them away. So you talk to them and then refer them to an agent that you know that can work with them and represent them. And then you make some extra income because you can charge a referral fee
Right.
for that. Okay. And then, so we're not going to have the sellers initial that because it says if initial below, the seller consents to the listing broker and the supervising broker acting as limited dual agents. And, I think it's best to stay away from that situation if you can. All right. And then number 5 is the listing date. And once you just remember, once you've put in, when you're in transaction desk, everything can be changed and moved around as long as you do it before you actually make the listing active. And I'll be showing you how to do that.
Okay.
And so, but for right now, we've got the listing at 5/24, which is Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then there are back up to number 4, there are agency pamphlets that we're going to be sending to the sellers along with this listing agreement. And then they can have a copy of it to read all about what agency law has to say about our job as an agent.
Okay.
All right. And then down to number 5, make sure everybody reads this about fair housing. There is a pamphlet that you can send along to them on this as well. But this number 6 pretty much states the law. right here as far as what goes along with fair housing. All
Okay.
right. And then number 7,
So this is
compensation.
where I messed up, Karen. I
Okay.
did put like when I was going through initially in transaction desk,
Mhm.
I don't know if I hit save and continue too soon, so I never got to this part. So am I able to input here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just that you saved it and now you can come back to anything that you save and continue to change it until you save it the way you want it to be.
Okay.
So, what did the sellers decide to do?
So sellers are going to pay 2% to the buyer's agent.
Oh, okay. And 3% to you.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so you just put 2% in that section B. So the top part is the listing firm compensation is 3, and the buyer broker firm gets 2%.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then down in the section below, if the listing broker represents both seller and buyer as a limited dual agent, then you'd put the percent there
Okay.
equal to the amount in subject 7B if not filled in. And since we just leave it blank, since we're not going to do that anyway.
Okay.
And then the next box says if checked, the offer to pay buyer brokerage firm compensation shall extend to licensed brokerage firms that are not members of the MLS.
Okay.
And we will check that box because you want to make it so that as many buyers can see your seller's property as possible.
Okay.
All right, so then down to number C, expiration of the listing agreement. So usually 180 days is normal for, they call it tail provision, is another word they use for what we're doing right here on the expiration of the listing term. If your seller and you decide to cancel your listing or it expires, then anybody that buys the property within 100 days after that cancellation or the expiration, and you were what they call the procuring cause of that buyer seeing the property, whether it's they came into an open house that you had or you sent them the listing, then you deserve to get a commission. It's not always easy to find that or see that that's happened, but if you do notice that once you've had a listing agreement and later on within that 180 days you see that there was a buyer that bought it that you had introduced to the property, you could go after the commission to the seller. Yeah, but you have put it this way, you have the option to do that. Not very many people do it. They don't want to fight, but that's your right to have that.
Okay.
And then property access, key box. In this section, all of us that are in the Northwest MLS work off the same keys and key boxes, but there are other companies. There are some companies even on this side of the mountains, but mostly on the other side in Washington and up north as well, that do not subscribe to the Northwest MLS.
Okay.
And so they're going to have a different way to access the property. But like I said before, you want your seller to have as many eyes on their property as possible. So you're going to want to check the box that says seller authorizes.
Okay.
And I'm saying this because that's the discussion I have with my sellers.
Mm-hmm.
But say you have a discussion with the seller and they may not want an agent that's outside of the Northwest MLS looking in the house, but it's their choice, not ours. So you want to have that discussion.
Okay.
And then firm to provide access to the property to licensed brokers who are not part of the Northwest MLS. If authorized, the listing firm shall or shall not be required to attend any such showings. I usually check shall not be required, but you may decide to be there. That's your choice, but you want to make sure that if you check the other box, that means always have to be there if there's an agent that's seeing it from another that is not part of the Northwest MLS.
So if they are not a part of the Northwest MLS, are they able to still use like our same key box? They have access to that. How would they be able to see the house?
The way that they'd have to see the house is if the seller let them in,
Okay.
that would be another way, or you.
Or me. Okay.
Yes, but you don't want to like limit it to that you have to be there. There may be a situation that you can't be,
Okay.
and you can also say, hey, you may have another agent that you know, and say you're out of the area,
Mhm.
and somebody wants to see the house and they don't have a Northwest MLS key, and you know of another broker that has one that does, that's, you know, that from around here,
Mhm.
somebody else could open the door for you.
Okay.
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 All right. And then if authorized selling shall not require um, to be required to attend. And then if authorized, the listing firm shall or shall not require brokers who are not members of the MLS to execute an access agreement prior to any showings. This is going to be between you and the sellers.
Okay.
But I just let the sellers know that, we're all licensed agents held to the same standard. And so the sellers just want to make sure their house is protected. They know who's there. So then it's up to them. I usually put authorize a listing firm shall not require.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never had that even come up.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so then down to the next page, the rest of it's just pretty much description. And I encourage all of you guys to go through and read through all of the paragraphs with the that have been talked about on this last couple pages, just so you get familiar with the terms.
Right.
And then if you have any questions, you let me know.
Okay.
All right, and then damages. On this one, if for whatever reason the buyer walks away for no legal reason from a transaction, then the seller would get to keep the buyer's earnest money. Okay. Now, if the buyer's earnest money is kept, it's actually relinquished to escrow. Escrow divides it up according to whatever is determined on the form showing that the buyer's gone away and the transaction is canceled. Also, they'll want to know, they'll be looking at this to see, okay, so does it go to the broker firm or does it go to the seller, or is it split between the two? And in most cases, it goes back to the seller. And that's the reason, but I say back to the seller, it goes to the seller. And that is, it's considered like we have on the first page of the purchase and sale, which you'll be dealing with later. It does, it's a provision there so that the seller gets compensated for time off the market, any damages of the buyer not being able to close the sale.
Okay.
Okay, so it would be retained by seller is the box that you'd want to check. Unless there's something else that comes up, and we'll talk about that later, but sometimes, yeah, I'm not going to go into all that. So goes to seller, and then it can be changed. It can be changed on an addendum if it's decided otherwise. Okay. So this is pretty much all you need to put here. Now, the only thing that could go under other is that if the seller didn't want a sign put up in front of their yard, or if they didn't want their names to show up on the listing. And then if that was the case, you would type it in here, but also you'd have to provide a letter that the seller writes saying that why.
You requested like special
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now all you do with this one is you go up and click on the X.
Okay.
On the right where it says save. Yep. Save and exit. Now, all that we just did is going to be saved in there. You won't have to redo that form, anything with that form again, unless say Friday gets here. And the photographer, oh, did I send you? I sent you the photographer stuff, didn't I? No?
No, but
Okay.
you want me to, oh.
Here,
Okay.
I'll do it right now. Who did I send it to? I sent it to somebody.
I think Mo asked also.
Oh, okay, maybe I sent it to her. Okay, I'll do that after. Just remind me after we do it, since we're videotaping this.
I will.
Okay, so now the second form that you're going to need, well, let's go to the ones that are a little bit quicker. Okay, click on the 22K.
22K, okay.
And the 22K is just a way for, this doesn't have to be done ahead of time, but it's convenient to have it done ahead of time, because then you can have the seller sign it now instead of later. It would normally, if it's not included here, then it would be included in the purchase and sale that the buyer presents anyway. But we'll go ahead and do it here. We don't know the purchase and sale agreement date, and we don't know who the buyer is yet. But this is where you're going to find out from the seller where they pay their utility bills to.
Okay.
Okay. And you'll want to type it in. It's probably easier if you do it than to send it to them for them to do it.
Okay.
Okay. And so there's really nothing you can do on this right now, except for, and you don't even want to fill in the space there. That's for the buyer to do. So go ahead and save this one.
Okay.
And it's going to be part of the supplements, and I'll show you how to do all of that.
Okay.
All right. And the next one is the 22E, which is the next one down line. Okay, now this is mainly needs to only be filled out if your seller is foreign to the US.
Okay.
And so since they're not, you're going to go ahead and check the box that says, I am the seller of real property. You're just going to do it and it just fills in the address there for the seller. And this is one of those backwards sentences that says, I am not, anyway, you're going to check the second box that says, I am not a non-resident.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, those are kind of, you have to keep,
Yep. Yep. Remember, am I saying I am, or am I saying I'm not? So yeah, I am not a non-resident alien or foreign corporation, foreign company. All right. And then nothing else needs to be done here, but the seller's names they need to sign the bottom of this, and it should automatically populate it there once we get into the signing part of things. But if it doesn't, I'll show you how to put it there.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead and save this one. Okay. And then scroll down. Let's see. Okay. We're going to do this, the seller's disclosure right now. So that's the 17. Click on that. And we're going to send this to them.
Okay.
So that they can fill it out.
Okay.
So the only thing that you can do on here is scroll down to, they can do that, check the box that says they are or are not occupying the property. All right. And what you're going to want to do we're going to send this via email, and they're going to receive it, and they're going to be able to go through. We're going to make it so that they can manipulate the form and check the boxes that apply or what applies. But one thing they need to know is that, see, every line that there are boxes, one of those boxes needs to be checked.
Okay.
And if you gotta say if it yes, no, don't know, NA. If it's you know the answer and it's yes or no, check that. If you don't know, check that. And if it doesn't apply, check that, because there's going to be stuff on here about well water and septic tanks, and you don't have that
Okay.
here.
It's a lot of them. It goes 33. So all of these they need to do.
Yes, every line needs to have at least one box checked as they go through an answer. Now, if there's as they go through the process too, so read up, scroll, let's see, scroll up just a little bit
Okay.
and say that, keep going. Okay, so look to the right
Mhm.
of where you see number 6, and then you see C and D, and there's an asterisk next to it,
Numbers.
next to the letter,
Yes.
right there. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if the seller answers yes to any of the questions that have that asterisk next to them, you're, if they click the box yes, then if they're gonna have to scroll down to the bottom, scroll down just a little bit, keep going, keep going. And there's going to be a space for them to give an explanation as to why the answer to that question was yes, right here.
Okay.
Yeah, if the answer is yes to any asterisk item, please explain below using additional sheet if they need to, and please refer to the line number that the question's on.
Okay.
Now, they probably won't have many of those because of it being pretty new construction. There may be a thing about HOA in
Alright.
there, so that may be something. I can't remember if there's HOA stuff in there or not.
I did see, I think homeowners.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. But none of those are, the only thing that's asterisks there, scroll down that section. So C and D, those are the only ones. Is there a pending assessment, special assessment? That means, have they received any notice that they're going to have to put money out for street repair or anything? If they've received any notice like that, it's a special assessment and they have to declare it here or disclose it here that yes. And then if there is, they're going to explain down below what it is.
Okay.
Okay. And then D, are there any shared common areas or any joint maintenance agreements, such as walls, fences, landscaping, pools, tennis courts, any of that kind of stuff? And if there is, you put yes, and then you down below you'd write what they are.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so now we're gonna send it to him. So you want to go over to that deal that looks like right at the top of the page, to the left, far left there, it looks like a folder.
Yes.
Click on that.
Do I need to click save or no?
Nope, nope, don't do that yet. So go ahead and click that, and then go down to where you see a box with an arrow coming up out of the right side of it on an angle. Right there, email. Okay, so now you're gonna just toggle over to where and click on email.
Okay. Email.
All right, now you're gonna click the circle next to Form 17.
Okay.
And then click OK. All right, now you're gonna write your recipient's name and you know what, both of them. It can go both of their names with their last name.
Okay, can go right here in this box.
Yeah, it would be Anthony and, I mean, it's both of them together. It doesn't have to be Anthony Davis and then her, but it can be Anthony and Victoria Davis. Okay, and then pick one of their emails to send it to. It's probably hers because she probably checks hers more often than he does.
Okay. So automatically, I guess if I had saved them in here, then maybe it would populate or no?
it maybe.
Okay. Well, I have it. Okay.
And then you can, if you want to, send a blank copy to him as well, if you've got his, or just which one do you?
Okay. Blind copy or CC, or it doesn't?
CC, it doesn't matter. It can be either one, just that way both of them have a copy of it.
Okay. And do you normally, do you ever blind copy yourself as like a good practice or no need?
No, it depends on what it is, but on this one, I don't.
Okay.
Okay. And then you're going to go down below and it says send as a link, and that's not the, click on the bottom box. It says allow editing forms.
Okay.
Go. All right. And then you're going to want to put an expiration date out a week. And because they don't have to have this filled out before you list, but they do need to be working on it.
Okay. So,
And the sooner they can do it, then I can get it to them for with their signature on it too, because they can't sign it from here. They can only check the boxes. Then it automatically comes back to you in transaction desk, and then you can send it to them for their signature on the bottom of it. Okay. So now what you're going to do, go ahead and click, you type a message in there if you want to. But what I try to explain it in person rather than in a message. So I would just say, please look this over. I will be calling you to explain the process of filling this out.
okay. It was Form 17.
Yes, and then maybe in parentheses put seller's disclosure. And you can just to discuss, that's fine, or you can go into more detail on that, but yeah,
Okay.
I think that's fine. All right, so now all you got to do is click send it, and then they'll get that message, and then you can call them later to
kind of go over like the things.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then you can go ahead and save this now.
Okay.
And then I'm going to show you what's going to happen once they fill it out. You're going to receive a I know I got an email. I know I get an email when they're in the process of doing it, but it's hard to know if you're gonna receive that or not. But anyway, you're gonna watch. Click on forms on the far right of the page. We may be hiding it. There we go. Click
Okay.
on that. So now if you notice, Form 17, seller's disclosure, if you look at it, on the underneath it, it's got the date 5/20/24 at 5:07 p.m. That was when it was originally loaded into here. That's not because today, what's today? Today is the 21st, but it must have been loaded in here yesterday. So when they get done filling it out and checking the boxes, you'll see a date change showing that it's was modified. And when you open it, there may be two of them there that show up there, but you can tell which one is the right one by the date.
Okay.
And when you open it, you'll see that the boxes have been checked and everything.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll talk about that once that happens.
I think when I was going along with Mo doing hers, that's why my date was from yesterday.
Yeah.
I was trying to follow along.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That could have been. All right. So now the last thing that we need is the input sheet, which is the Form 1. So you want to click on that. And you get to spend some time working on this. And you and I are going to have to meet back again after you have time to do that. So you're gonna need your property profile that came with the Trio.
Okay.
And once this opens, you'll see some of the stuff is already auto-populated because you went from Realist to fill it in, or Matrix, I can't remember. And
Okay.
see how most of that stuff is all filled in. If there is a dot next to anything, that you've got to fill it in.
Okay.
So the only thing you might have a little bit of trouble with is the area,
Okay.
as well as the community and district. So the way to find that out is, first of all, let's finish filling out the address. I'm not sure why it's all the way there. So see under street,
Yes.
you want the number, whether it's one blah blah blah, yeah, that one. And
Okay.
then over direction, there wasn't a modifier. Okay, east, and then it was 177. Yeah.
Yeah. What does modifier mean?
Sometimes there's like a I mean, I've seen it used and I've used it, but I can't think of an example right now. But
It's
if you had one, you would know it.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, and then, so see the other stuff down below, there's no dot next to it. So you don't need to fill that out, but the area number. So can you get to the Northwest MLS easy
Yeah.
from here? Okay. So click on that and let's go down to Matrix and Realist.
Okay. Can you still see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then, pull up their old listing from when they bought it.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I remember how you told me to, wait, no, search, I think we did address, and then you told me 12650. I think we did this, and you said, oh,
Yep, there's too many. Yep. So once you put the 177th in there, then
okay,
there you go. And then click search. All right. And then open that up, click on the MLS number.
okay,
So the fact that it had been listed before, somebody else had already figured out what the area number was. So all you got to do is look at the top, see where it says sold, and you see the area number. Is that 80 or 89?
89,
Yep. So we know the area number is 89. And then the community, scroll down,
oh, okay,
will be down here somewhere if there is a specific community.
so not this one, Karen, Sunrise?
Oh, that's it. I didn't see that. Yep. So it's Sunrise is the community and area 89 is the area.
Okay.
So, yep, just go back to transaction desk and type in or click on area and it'll give you choices. So scroll down to 89.
Okay, 89.
Yep. And then you can do Sunrise.
Oh, yep, okay.
Right. So there you go. And that's all that needs to be done there. And let me think of anything else. Preliminary title ordered, yes.
Yeah.
That's what's came with your Trio. And then title company.
Is Chicago Title.
Yep. So just put Chicago. You don't have to go into any detail on that. And then the discussion is, do you want to do a seller will review offers once as submitted, or do you want to set a review date?
So is it, I thought I thought I'm supposed to submit them as their upon receipt, but this is of course my first time doing this, so.
Yeah. Well, no matter how you write this, the seller will get the offers as they come in.
Okay,
You'll submit them as they come in.
okay,
But if they decide to set a review date, then sometimes that creates some urgency for people to, if they like the house, that they put an offer in quick because they know there may be others.
okay.
Or you can just do the seller will review offers upon receipt.
Okay.
Either one. I would do the top one for right now. Our market's a little different. Back when it was really just crazy, it was working great to set a review date, but now it seems to have changed a little bit.
Okay.
And so then over to the right, I guess those don't have to be answered because there's no dot next to them. But what you're gonna need to do for now, for a little bit, is go through each section, look for anything that has a dot next to it. If there's nothing there, then you got to look for it on your property profile sheet.
Okay.
And if you get to a question that you don't understand, so like you just went past the tail provision date, we already know that that's 180 days. That's that same as that
On the,
on
okay.
the listing, and then just scroll through slowly, take your time, and then text me
Okay.
when you think you're done, or text me when you have any questions.
Okay.
And then we'll meet back on here and finish the process of sending everything to them for their signature.
Okay.
Okay.
So outside of the seller's disclosure statement, we are this one and then the listing agreement, are there other ones? Well, I know we just went over 1A 22K, form 17, and then this form 1. So all of those are done
The
and
tw- and the 22E.
okay, 22. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Those all go. And then another thing you'll want to do between now and the time that we get back together is so in your property profile, you should have received an exhibit A, which is the legal description.
Okay. Yes.
And so it should be on your computer as well when you're in the email that you received from her. Just save that document. She should have probably sent it separately.
Okay.
So save that document to your computer, name it with the last name of your clients, and then just put exhibit A.
Okay.
Because when we're gonna be putting all this over into a signing section, then we're gonna grab that as well and put it in the mix of these forms, and it's all gonna go to the seller
Okay.
for their signature or initials, either one.
Okay.
And we'll walk through that when you're
Okay.
ready.
Okay. Okay, so I'll take some time and then go over this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just once I'm done going through it, do I just hit save and exit like how we did with the other ones?
Yes, when you finish typing in all this stuff, you're gonna save and exit, and then I'm gonna actually, there's two things we're gonna do with it. We're gonna be sending, all these group of forms to your sellers to sign, but we're also gonna click a button that'll upload everything into the Northwest MLS to be ready to go live on Friday if you're ready for that.
Okay.
Okay, and it won't go anywhere, do anything. It won't show up anywhere until you actually put it there, and it's not something you can do
Okay.
accidentally.
You
And
have
I'll
to.
show you, yeah, I'll show you how to do that too.
Okay, so my due out right now is just to follow up with them on the seller's disclosure to explain what needs to be done.
Yeah,
And then I go through this, and then once I'm done with this, just let you know, and then we'll finish up, I guess.
yeah,
And then,
yeah, yeah. And so I should be available this evening, probably at about probably 7:30.
okay.
And if 7:30 tonight doesn't work, we can do it in the morning.
Okay. 7:30, that works. I'll just send you a text.
Yeah, just text me when yeah, just send me a text. All right, I'm gonna stop this recording here, and then okay, bye everybody.